Be me, 25, remote junior logistics coordinator. Sitting in the ergonomic Herman Miller chair, I put on a credit card I haven't paid off in 3 months. Room is dark, only illumination coming from dual monitors. Left monitor, spreadsheet titled Q3 Shipping Manifests Final V2, XLSX, that hasn't been modified since Tuesday. Right monitor, YouTube video playing at 1.25x speed. Some guy playing Minecraft, digging a perfectly symmetrical 3x3 tunnel into virtual granite. The audio is a soft, monotone voice reading an anonymous email about a girl who cheated on her boyfriend of 4 years because she felt stagnant. Look down at my hands, hovering over the mechanical keyboard. Cherry MX brown switches. Bought them because the internet said they were tactile but quiet. They still sound like plastic hail every time I pretend to type. It's 2:14 p.m. on a Thursday. I have done absolutely zero work today. The air in the apartment smells like recycled AC and the faint, sweet chemical scent of vape juice. My girlfriend Sarah is in the living room. She works in PR. She's actually working. I can hear her voice through the thin drywall, pitched up an octave, that fake enthusiastic client voice. Absolutely, Brian. We can definitely pivot the strategy to leverage that KPI. Shiver runs down my spine. Not from cold, but from a sudden sharp spike of revulsion. It's the vocabulary of the hive. Pivot, leverage, KPI. Look back at the Minecraft video. The narrator is placing torches on the wall. Asterisk clack, 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 asterisk. The light spreads in calculated intervals. He's talking about moral accountability now. If you aren't happy, you owe it to him to leave. Staying out of guilt is just another form of lying. I minimize the window quickly as I hear footsteps approaching my door. Heart does a pathetic flutter against my ribs. Panic over nothing. Door opens. Sarah leans in, holding a mug of tea. Hey babe, do you want anything? I'm making a fresh pot. She looks tired. Baggy gray sweater, messy bun, blue light glasses. She looks safe. She looks like an anchor. And I hate myself for thinking that she looks like a trap. No, I'm good, I say. Voice comes out rusty. Haven't spoken in 4 hours. Clear throat. Actually, water would be great. She smiled, that soft, trusting smile that makes my stomach churn with acid. Okay, coming right up. How's the manifest going? Brutal, I lie effortlessly. Data corruption in the import, having to manually reconcile the lines. Oh no, you're such a grinder. Don't work too late. She leaves. Door clicks shut. I stare at the closed wood grain. I am not a grinder. I am currently on a performance improvement plan that I haven't told her about. Manager sent the email 2 weeks ago. Subject line, formal notice of performance deficiency. I marked it as unread and haven't opened it since. Bring the Minecraft video back up. The character is building a base inside a mountain. A safe harbor, hiding from the creepers and the night. I feel a profound sense of kinship with a blocky avatar hiding in a hole. The narrator is reading a new story now. Guy wants to get a nose piercing and drop out of law school to be a tattoo apprentice. Scared his dad will cut him off. Scared of the critical observer. I touch my own face. Stubbled jawline soft from lack of exercise. Eyes red-rimmed. I don't want to be a tattoo apprentice. I don't even know what I want. That's the rod. That's the friction. It's not that I have a secret passion I'm suppressing. It's that I have a secret void where a personality should be. I open a new tab. Incognito mode. Type in the URL for a job board. Stare at the search bar. Cursor blinking. Asterisk blink asterisk. Asterisk blink asterisk. Asterisk blink asterisk. I don't type anything. Close the tab. Open Reddit instead. Scroll r/career guidance for 10 minutes looking for a magic bullet that doesn't exist. Read a thread about quiet quitting. Realize I skipped quiet quitting and went straight to silent decaying. Sarah comes back with the water. Sets it on a coaster. She respects wood. She respects rules. She respects the narrative arc of a standard life. College, job, apartment, engagement, house, death. Thanks, I mumble. She lingers. Hand on my shoulder. Warmth seeping through my shirt. My mom asked if we're still coming for dinner on Sunday. She says. Tension spikes instantly. Sunday dinner. Roast chicken. Sarah's dad asking me about logistics. Having to explain supply chains to a man who thinks Amazon delivers via magic. Having to pretend I'm not one bad quarter away from being fired. Yeah, of course, I say. Eyes glued to the screen. Cool, I told her to make the potatoes you like. She squeezes my shoulder and leaves again. I wait for her footsteps to fade. Put my headphones back on. Video is ending. Narrator is wrapping up. Risk is good, recklessness is bad, but standing still is the worst thing you can do. Inertia kills the soul. I look at the time. 2:38 p.m. 24 minutes have passed. I have achieved nothing. I have felt nothing but mild irritation and low-grade anxiety. Open the spreadsheet again. Click on cell C14. Change pending to in transit. Change it back to pending. Control+Z. Control+Z. It's like I'm trying to rewrite reality with keyboard shortcuts. Stomach growls. Ignore it. Open a notepad file titled thoughts.txt. It's buried 5 folders deep in a directory called Old Drivers. This is my confession booth. This is where the internal truth goes to die. Scroll past pages of half-formed rants and self-pity. Go to the bottom. Type date, *Oct 12 *. Type *, I think I want to break up with her, *. Stare at the sentence. It's crisp black Courier, new font on a white background. Do I want that? Or do I just want to blow up the safe harbor because I'm bored? If I break up with her, I lose the apartment. I lose the shared Netflix account. I lose the only person who looks at me like I'm a human being and not a resource. But if I stay, I have to go to dinner on Sunday. I have to keep listening to her talk about K-Piss. I have to keep pretending I am part of this world. Delete the sentence. Backspace hold down. Letters disappear one by one. *REH, HTIWPUKERB*. Gone. Cursor blinks at me, mocking. Type instead, *I am tired, *. Save file. Close file. Alt-tab back to the browser. YouTube autoplay has loaded the next video. Another essay. Why you feel lonely in your 20s. Thumbnail is a Wojak looking out a rainy window. It's perfectly algorithmic. It knows me better than Sarah does. It knows I am a passive drifter. It knows I am consuming performative vulnerability instead of practicing actual vulnerability. Click play. Lean back in the chair. Plastic mesh creaks. The sun is starting to shift outside the window, casting a glare on the screen. I should get up and close the blinds. I don't. I just squint and let the glare burn my retinas. Let the discomfort sit there, simmering, quiet, waiting for something to break. Hopefully it's not me. Video ends. Autoplay countdown ticks down. 5, 4. Door handle turns. Panic spike. Alt-tab to the spreadsheet just as the door opens. Sarah standing there, dressed in a cream-colored sweater and jeans. She looks put together. She looks like an adult who pays taxes and enjoys brunch. I look like a goblin who has been staring into a light source for 6 hours. Babe, we have to go, she says. Voice is gentle but has that edge. The edge that says * I am managing you, and it is exhausting *. Yeah, coming, I say. Stand up. Knees pop. Spine feels like a rusted bike chain. Walk past her to the bedroom. Change our sweatpants into chinos. Put on a button-down shirt that feels too tight around the neck. Look in the mirror. Face is pale, eyes slightly bloodshot. Splash cold water on my face. Dry it with a towel that smells faintly of mildew. We need to wash the towels. Add it to the mental list of things I will ignore until it becomes a crisis. Walk out to the living room. Sarah is waiting by the door, keys in hand. You look nice, she lies. Thanks, I lie back. We walk down to the car. Sunday afternoon in the suburbs. Everything is gray and muted. Sky is a flat sheet of slate. Neighbors are washing cars or mowing lawns. Everyone is performing the ritual of maintenance, keeping the entropy at bay for one more week. Get into the passenger seat of her Civic. She drives. I stare out the window. Radio is playing top 40 hits from 3 years ago. Something about dancing the night away. I don't want to dance. I want to dissolve. Are you okay? She asks. Eyes on the road. Hands at 10 and 2. Yeah, just tired. Work was a lot. On a Sunday. Catching up End of quarter coming up. Lie comes easily now. Automatic. Like breathing. Well, try to relax tonight. Mom is making that roast you like. Great. Roast beef. Dry, stringy beef that requires excessive chewing. Drowned in gravy to mask the lack of moisture. The culinary equivalent of my career. We drive in silence for 20 minutes, passing strip malls and gas stations. Starbucks, Chipotle, mattress firm, Starbucks again. The landscape is a copy-paste job. Glitch in the simulation, where the developers ran out of assets. Pull into the driveway of her parents' house. 2-story colonial. Impeccable lawn. Gnome by the front porch holding a sign that says, "Welcome." I feel a physical resistance in my chest. Like walking into a strong wind. Unbuckle seatbelt. Metallic click sounds like a gunshot in the quiet car. Take a deep breath. Put on the mask. Fix the smile. Get out. Walk up the path. Sarah rings the bell. Door swings open immediately. Her mom, Susie, wearing an apron that says, "Live, laugh, love," unironically. "There they are," she shrieks. Pulls Sarah into a hug. Then turns to me. I brace for impact. And the hard worker, "Come in, come in." Hug is perfumed and suffocating. Smell of potpourri and expensive hairspray. "Hi, Susie, good to see you." Step inside. House smells like furniture polish and roasting meat. Warm. Too warm. Thermostat set to 75. Walls are covered in framed photos. Sarah graduating. Sarah at prom. Sarah and me on a vacation 2 years ago, where we fought the whole time. In the photo, we are smiling on a beach, holding cocktails, looking happy. Historical revisionism on drywall. Walk into the living room. Her dad, Bob, is in the recliner, watching golf. Volume is low. Commentators whispering about putting greens. "Hey, Bob," I say. He looks up. Eyes glaze over for a second before recognition hits. "Hey, sport, how's the grind?" He calls it the grind. He thinks this is how young people talk. Or maybe he's mocking me. Hard to tell with Bob. "It's going," I say. "Good, good, keeps you honest." He turns back to the golf. Interaction complete. NPC dialogue exhausted. I drift toward the kitchen. Sarah and Susie are talking about a cousin's wedding. Floral arrangements. Color schemes. The politics of the seating chart. I lean against the granite island. Hands in pockets. Trying to look engaged but not intrusive. Fingers brush against my phone in my pocket. Phantom limb syndrome. I want to pull it out. Check the Discord. Check the subreddit. See if anyone has replied to the thread about the loneliness video. Need that dopamine hit of shared misery. But I can't. Rude. Social suicide. Susie hands me a bowl of pretzels. "Put these on the table, will you?" "Sure thing." Walk to the dining room. Table is set with the good china. Gold rims. Heavy silverware. Cloth napkins folded into swans or something vague. Place the pretzels in the center. Stand there staring at a fork. Reflection in the metal is distorted. Big nose, tiny eyes. Funhouse mirror version of a failure. Sarah walks in. "Can you pour the wine?" Points to a bottle of red on the sideboard. "Yeah." Uncork it. Sound of the cork popping is satisfying. Pour 4 glasses. Dark red liquid swirls. Looks like blood. Looks like communion. Drink this in remembrance of your wasted potential. Sit down at my assigned seat. Back to the window. Trapped. Dinner is served. Roast beef. Mashed potatoes. Boiled carrots. Steaming piles of mediocrity. Everyone sits. Napkins unfolded. Prayers muttered. Bob does a quick grace, mostly mumbling. "Amen." Clinking of forks begins. The sound is rhythmic. Scrape, chew, swallow. Scrape, chew, swallow. So Bob starts, cutting a piece of meat with surgical precision. "How's the firm? Here the market is looking a bit wobble-why." He looks at me over his glasses. This is it. The interrogation. I swallow a lump of dry beef. "It's okay. We're shifting some strategies, focusing on retention." I am using words I heard in a meeting I slept through. Retention, Bob nods. "Smart, cheaper to keep M than find M." "Exactly." Sarah chimes in. "He's been working so hard, Dad. Late nights all week." She smiles at me. Proudly. It feels like a slap. She's proud of the lie. She's proud of the Avatar eye pilot from 9 to 5. She doesn't know the pilot is asleep at the wheel. Doesn't know I spent 4 hours on Tuesday reading about the collapse of the Bronze Age civilizations, because I wished a sea person would come burn my office down. Good for you, Susie says. Building a future, that's what it's all about. She looks pointedly at Sarah's left hand. Ring finger bare. Subtle as a brick. Speaking of future, Susie continues. Voice drops an octave. Conspiratorial tone. Have you two thought any more about the house on Maple Street, the one with the sunroom? Sarah freezes mid-chew. I feel the knot in my stomach tighten. The knot from the cheating story in the video. Except I'm not cheating on Sarah with a woman. I'm cheating on her with the concept of giving up. Mom, we talked about this, Sarah says. Markets are crazy right now, interest rates. Renting is throwing money away, Bob grunts. Mouthful of potatoes. Equity, son, you need equity. He points his fork at me like a weapon. I nod. You're right, Bob, equity is key. I have $400 in savings and $12,000 in student debt. My equity is negative. My sole equity is bankrupt. We're looking, I say. The lie tastes sour like the cheap wine. Just waiting for the right opportunity. Don't wait too long, Susie warns. Life happens fast. Before you know it, you're 40 and still paying a landlord. I look at the clock on the wall. 6:15 p.m. We have been here for 45 minutes. It feels like a geological epoch. I dissociate. Stare at the pattern on the tablecloth. Tiny embroidered flowers. Repeating endlessly. Fractals of domesticity. I think about the Minecraft video. The guy building the cave base. Placing block after block. Digging down. Away from the surface. Away from the creepers and the phantoms. Away from the expectations. I want to dig a hole. Right here in the dining room floor. Dig until I hit bedrock. And just sit there in the dark. Earth to anon. Sarah's voice snaps me back. Blink. 3 pairs of eyes on me. Sorry, I stammer. Zoned out thinking about work. Always working, Bob laughs. Slaps the table. Silverware jumps. That's the spirit, grindstone. I force a smile. Cheeks hurt. Muscles spasming from the effort. Actually, Sarah says, voice hesitant. We were thinking about a trip, maybe in the spring. This is news to me. I look at her. Oh, Susie perks up. Where to? Europe, Hawaii. Maybe Japan, Sarah says. She looks at me, eyes pleading. Pleading for me to play along. Pleading for me to want something. Japan, Bob says. Expensive, long flight. Yeah, I say. But culture, sushi. I am a chatbot trained on travel brochures. Well, you have to enjoy your youth while you have it, Susie sighs. But houses first, fun second. The prioritization of the American dream. Asset accumulation experience. I take a large gulp of wine. Finish the glass. Pour another. Bob raises an eyebrow. I don't care. The alcohol dulls the sharp edges of the conversation. Makes the room feel slightly less like a courtroom. But the resentment is simmering, bubbling up under the surface. It's not at them, really. It's at the script. Why do we all have to read these lines? Why is there no option to go off script? If I stood up right now and said, I hate my job, I feel nothing when I look at my girlfriend, and I spend my days wishing I was a disembodied consciousness floating in the void, what would happen? Bob would probably choke on a carrot. Susie would cry. Sarah would look at me with that crushed, betrayed expression, the betrayed other from the video, because I am deceiving her. Every day I don't break up with her is a lie. Every day I pretend to care about interest rates is a lie. I am a sleeper agent in my own life, waiting for an activation code that never comes. Potatoes are good, I say instead. Really creamy. Secret is heavy cream, Susie winks. And a stick of butter. Artery-clogging comfort. Death by dairy. We finish eating. Plates are cleared. I offer to help with dishes. Escape attempt #1. Nonsense, Susie says. You worked all week. Bob and I will get it. Go sit in the living room. Access denied. Sarah takes my hand. Leads me to the sofa. We sit. The leather makes a farting noise. Sarah giggles nervously. I don't laugh. Stare at the TV. Golf is over. Now it's 60 minutes. Ticking clock. Tick, tick, tick. The sound of my life passing by. Sarah leans her head on my shoulder. Thanks for being good with them, she whispers. I know they can be much. Smell her shampoo. Vanilla and honey. It used to smell like home. Now it smells like obligation. It's fine, I say, staring at the old guy on the screen, talking about corruption in the pharmaceutical industry. They are fine. I really do want to go to Japan, she says softly. Just us, get away from everything. She squeezes my hand. Her hand is warm. Mine is cold and clammy. I look at her hand. Manicured nails. Thin wrist. She is a person. A whole complex person with dreams and fears. And I am using her as a shield against loneliness. I am the villain in her story. And she doesn't even know the plot twist yet. Yeah, I say. Voice hollow. Japan sounds cool. Phone buzzes in my pocket. 3 times. Rapid fire. Notification. Could be work. Could be spam. Could be the void calling back. I ignore it. But the vibration lingers on my thigh like a burn. Bob walks in, drying his hands on a towel. Coffee and pie. Yes, please, Sarah says. Apple, I ask. Cherry, Susie yells from the kitchen. I hate cherry pie. The filling is too sweet, and the texture is like slime. Yum, I say. My voice sounds completely detached from my body now, like I'm controlling a character in third person. Watching him sit on the beige couch. Watching him nod at the old man. Watching the resentment build pressure behind his eyes. 1 bad quarter away from being fired. 1 bad conversation away from being single. 1 honest moment away from blowing up the safe harbor. Pie is served. Red goo oozing onto the plate. Take a forkful. Put it in my mouth. Chew. Swallow. Smile. The friction is unbearable. It's not a scream. It's a high-pitched whine. Like a CRT monitor left on in an empty room. And I am the only one who can hear it. Swallow the cherry slime. It coats my throat in high fructose corn syrup. Susie is watching me. Her eyes are wide and hopeful behind rimless glasses. Predatory kindness. Is it good, she asks. Bob picked the cherries himself at that farm in Traverse City. I imagine Bob in an orchard, wearing that beige windbreaker, reaching up with soft hands to pluck fruit. A life so simple it makes my teeth ache. Delicious, I lie. Really tart. Susie beams. Bob nods, satisfied with his harvest. Takes patience, Bob says. You can't rush a good pie. He points his fork at me like a weapon. Same with a career, son, slow and steady. My stomach lurches. The phone burns against my leg again. Another vibration. Longer this time. Susie pours more coffee. Decaf. Brown water. I take a sip just to have something to do with my hands. Speaking of careers, Sarah chirps. She's trying to bridge the gap. Trying to make me look like a prize. Tell Dad about the project lead role. The one with the logistics software. Freeze. The room temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. There is no project lead role. There was a mention of a team expansion 3 months ago. I didn't apply because I couldn't summon the energy to update my resume. I spent that week browsing Wikipedia articles about vanished civilizations instead. Oh, that, I say. Voice raspy. Clear my throat. It's moving along. Corporate bureaucracy, you know. Don't let them string you along, Bob grunts. He cuts a massive wedge of pie. You gotta show initiative. Walk into the boss's office. Firm handshake, look him in the eye. I think about my boss. A 26-year-old named Kyle, who wears Yeezy slides to the office and vapes in the stairwell. If I shook his hand, he'd probably file a ticket with HR for physical aggression. It's a different world, Dad, Sarah says. Defending me. Always defending the cardboard cutout of the man she thinks I am. Sure, Bob waves a hand. But people are people, they respect strength. He looks at me, expecting strength, seeing a guy with cherry stain on his lip and a tremor in his left hand. Excuse me, I say. Stand up too fast. Knee bumps the table. Coffee cups rattle in their saucers. Restroom. Walk out of the dining room. Past the living room with the paused 60-minute segment. Past the hallway table with the framed photos of Sarah graduating. Sarah at prom. Sarah holding a trophy. Evidence of a life lived in ascending. Enter the bathroom. Lock the door. Flick on the fan. It's loud. a mechanical rattling that drowns out the murmur of their voices. Lean against the sink. Look in the mirror. Skin looks gray under the harsh vanity bulbs. Eyes bloodshot. I look like a fugitive hiding in a gas station. Pull the phone out. Unlock screen. Brightness stings my eyes. 3 notifications. 1 from ESPN. 2 from the trading app. Heart hammers against my ribs. Thumb hovers. This is the friction. The digital confession. Tap the app. Red line. Steep vertical drop. The options contracts I bought on margin yesterday. The ones that were supposed to pay for the ring. Or the Japan trip. Or just buy me enough freedom to quit Kyle and his vape pen. Down 62%. $4,000 evaporated since I sat down for pot roast. Gone. Just pixels rearranging themselves into poverty. I stare at the number. It doesn't feel real. It feels like a video game score. I could close the app and pretend it didn't happen, but the bank transfer is already pending. I laugh. A short wet sound. Choke it back. Splash cold water on my face. Dry off with the guest towel. The one with the embroidered seashells. I know I'm not supposed to use the decorative towels. Susie will notice. Let her notice. A tiny rebellion. Stare at the phone again. The urge to double down hits me. The gambler's fallacy. If I put the rest of savings on a reversal, just catch the bounce. I could fix this before dessert is over. I could walk back out there a hero, secretly solvent. Thumb hovers over by. Door handle jiggles. Everything okay in there? Sarah's voice. Muffled by the wood. Panic spikes. Shove the phone in my pocket. Yeah, I call out. Just stomach-rich food. Oh, okay, take your time. Her footsteps retreat. She's worried. She thinks I'm sick. She doesn't know I'm functionally bankrupt and morally hollow. Look in the mirror one last time. Fix the hair. Put on the mask. The mask is getting heavy. It's starting to slip. Open the door. Walk back into the arena. Re-enter the dining room. Atmosphere has shifted. Bob and Susie are whispering. They stop when they see me. The silence is thick, textured like wool. Sit down. My pie is still there. Taunting me. Feeling better? Susie asks. Her brow furrowed. Much, I say. Just need to drink more water. Bob pours me more wine instead. A Merlot from a box. Tastes like vinegar and oak chips. We were just talking, Bob says, swirling his glass. He's building up to something. The preamble to a lecture. Sarah tells us you two are looking at the Miller property. My blood runs cold. The Miller property is a 4-bedroom colonial, 3 streets over. Sarah showed it to me on Zillow 2 weeks ago. I nodded and said nice brickwork. I didn't know we were looking at it. I didn't know we were ready to buy a mausoleum. It's a stretch, Sarah says quickly, glancing at me, gauging my reaction. But with the promotion, and if we use the savings for the down payment, she trails off, smiling nervously, waiting for me to validate the fantasy. The savings that are currently burning in a server farm somewhere in New Jersey. The savings I just torched trying to feel something other than numbness. Right, I say. The word tastes like ash. The Miller property. It's a good investment, Bob states. Real estate is the only real wealth. Stocks, crypto, gambling for fools. He laughs. A hearty, knowing laugh. I grip the stem of my wine glass. Fingers white. The irony is physically painful. It feels like a pressure behind my eyes. You need roots, Susie adds. You can't float forever. Floating? That's exactly what I'm doing. Drifting in the void. Untethered. And they want to chain me to a brick box in the suburbs, so I can mow the lawn on Saturdays, and eat cherry pie on Sundays, and die slowly over 40 years. Resentment flares. Hot and sudden. Why do they get to be so sure? Why is their script the only one that counts? Actually, I hear myself say, voice louder than intended, I was thinking about Japan. Silence. Forks pause midair. Sarah looks up. Surprised. Hopeful. Japan, Bob repeats. Like I just said Mars. Yeah, I continue. The adrenaline is kicking in now. Fight or flight. And I'm choosing a weird, social version of fight. Just leaving, taking a sabbatical, seeing the world before we lock ourselves into a 30-year mortgage. Susie blinks. But the job. Jobs come and go, I say. Reckless now. Life is short, right? Isn't that what you said, Bob? Can't rush a good pie. I'm mixing metaphors. I'm babbling. But I can't stop. The pressure valve has popped. We have the money, I lie. Looking directly at Sarah. Her eyes are shining. She thinks this is a romantic gesture. She thinks I'm choosing adventure. She doesn't know I'm choosing evasion. We could just go next month. But the Miller house, Sarah whispers. Someone else will buy it, I say. Houses are just wood and stone. Experiences, that's real wealth. I am quoting a travel blog I read at 3 a.m. I don't believe a word of it. I just want to stop talking about the mortgage. I just want to stop the walls from closing in. Bob sets his glass down. Hard. That sounds impulsive, he says. The judgment is heavy. Running off to foreign countries when you're trying to build a foundation. Building a foundation or digging a grave. The words are out before I can check them. The silence this time is absolute. Violent. Susie gasps softly. Sarah freezes. Bob's face turns a shade of purple that matches the Merlot. I have crossed the line. The invisible boundary of polite dinner etiquette. I have insulted the sanctuary. My heart is pounding in my ears. Thump, thump, thump. Part of me is terrified. The social anxiety is screaming. Abort. Apologize. Backpedal. But another part of me, the part that watched the red line drop, the part that hates the cherry pie, is exhilarated. I finally said something real, even if it was wrapped in a manic episode. I stammer, trying to salvage the wreckage. We're young, we should, live. We live just fine, Bob says. Voice low. Dangerous. We worked 40 years to live like this, to have this peace. He gestures around the room. The beige walls, the Hummel figurines, the illusion of safety. And you think it's a grave. Sarah puts a hand on my arm. Dad, he didn't mean it like that. Didn't he? Bob challenges, staring me down. Look at him, Sarah. He's been twitching all night, looking at his phone, checking the time. He saw. He noticed. The observer is not as passive as I thought. He doesn't want to be here. The truth hangs over the table, naked and ugly. I look at Sarah. She's looking at me, waiting for me to deny it, waiting for the performance, waiting for the good guy to come back and smooth it over. But I'm tired. I'm so incredibly tired. And the phone in my pocket buzzes again. Phantom vibration. Or real disaster. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm sorry, I say. Standing up again. I think the pie isn't sitting right. Cowardice. Pure distilled cowardice. I am fleeing the scene of the crime. I need fresh air. I walk away from the table, ignoring Bob's glare, ignoring Susie's confused murmurs, ignoring Sarah's hand reaching out to catch my sleeve. I hit the front door, fumble with the lock, step out into the cool evening air. Suburban silence, crickets, distant traffic, the smell of cut grass and dryer sheets. Walk to my car, lean against the hood, pull out the phone, check the app, down 68%. Margin call imminent. I look back at the house. Warm yellow light spilling from the dining room window. I can see their silhouettes. Bob is gesturing. Sarah has her face in her hands. I have detonated the evening, but I haven't detonated the lie yet. Not fully. I could still go back in there. Claim a panic attack. Claim food poisoning. Cry. Sarah loves broken things. She would forgive me. She would nurse me back to health. And we would buy the Miller house. And I would spend the next 30 years paying for a life I don't want with money I don't have. I look at the street. Dark and empty. Stretching out into the night. I could just get in the car. Drive until the gas runs out. Become a missing person. Start over in a town where no one expects me to eat cherry pie. The friction is vibrating in my teeth. The choice is right there. Agency or inertia. Truth or consequence. Phone buzzes again. Text from Sarah. Are you okay? Please come back inside. Dad is really mad. I look at the screen. The glowing letters. A lifeline. Or a leash. I type back. I'm sorry. Delete it. Type. Be right there. Delete it. Stare at the cursor blinking. Wink. Wink, wink, laughing at me. I put the phone away. Take a deep breath of the suburban air. It smells like entrapment. I turn back toward the house, and the front door opens. Sarah stands in the frame, silhouetted by the light, watching me, waiting. The moment stretches, elastic and tense. She takes a step onto the porch, arms crossed, protecting herself from the cold, or from me. "Who are you talking to?" she asks, voice thin, carrying across the lawn. "On your phone, who is it?" She thinks it's a girl. She thinks it's infidelity. She thinks it's a simple betrayal. A human betrayal. She has no idea it's much worse. It's an existential betrayal. I'm cheating on her with the void. No one, I say. The lie comes automatic. Smooth. Just work. On a Sunday night. "Kyle," I say. "Emergency." She descends the steps, walking toward me across the grass, her heels sinking into the soft earth. She looks beautiful, and sad, and determined. She is coming to collect me, to drag me back to the safety of the beige couch. And I am going to let her, because the alternative is terrifying, because I am a coward. But as she gets closer, I see the look in her eyes. It's not just concern, it's suspicion. She knows, not the details, but the vibe. She knows the frequency is off. She stops 3 feet away. "You're lying," she says. Quietly, "I can see your screen light from the window. You weren't texting." She points at my pocket. "Show me." The demand hangs in the air. Unexpected. Sarah never demands. Sarah accommodates. Sarah forgives. But tonight, maybe the cherry pie got to her too. Maybe she's tired of the performance. "Show me," she repeats. Louder. "Show me what's more important than my father's dinner." I freeze, hand in pocket, clutching the device, the black box. If I show her, it's over. The Miller house, the wedding, the respect, all of it burns. If I don't show her, I have to escalate the lie. I have to get angry. I have to gaslight. I have to become the villain fully. Friction, heat, pressure. "You don't trust me?" I ask, playing the victim card. It feels slimy. It feels like the cherry pie. "Don't do that," she snaps. "Don't turn this around, just unlock it." She holds out her hand, palm up, expectant, manicured nails, trembling slightly. I look at her hand, then at her face, then at the house. Bob is watching from the window now, a shadow behind the glass. The audience is waiting for the climax. I pull the phone out, grip it tight. "You really want to know?" I ask, voice low, venomous. "You really want to see?" "Yeah," she says, chin up. Brave, stupidly brave. I look down at the screen. Tap to wake. The red graph is still there. The ruin. The truth. I take a breath. And I make my choice. I unlock the phone. Face ID catches my eyes in the dark. The little padlock icon snaps open. A mechanical surrender. I don't navigate away. I don't close the app. I don't switch to Instagram or messages to fake a benign addiction. I leave it right there on the portfolio screen. The jagged red cliff. The sheer vertical drop that represents 3 years of savings. The wedding fund. The down payment for the Miller house. My entire claim to adulthood. I extend my arm. The screen glows against the humid night air, illuminating the fine hairs on her arm as she reaches out. She takes it. Her grip is firm, expecting to scroll, expecting to search for a name, for a Jessica or a Courtney. Her thumb hovers over the glass, ready to investigate the crime of passion. But she freezes. She stares at the jagged line. The numbers are red. A bright, hateful crimson. Minus 94.2%. Total equity, $412.08. She frowns. The confusion is palpable. It wrinkles her forehead in a way I usually find cute. But right now it looks like the first crack in a windshield. "What is this?" she asks. Voice flat. She doesn't understand the interface. It's a decentralized exchange aggregator. It looks like the cockpit of a crashing alien ship. "Is this a game?" she asks. She looks up at me, hoping it's a game, hoping I'm just a man-child playing Space Invaders while her dad cuts the pie. No, I say. The word comes out like gravel. It's the account. What account? Our account, Sarah. Silence. Absolute. Vacuum-sealed silence. The crickets stop. The hum of the refrigerator from the open window stops. The universe pauses to watch the car crash. She looks back down at the screen, doing the math, moving the decimal point, trying to find the mistake. $400, she whispers. It's not a question. It was 40,000 last week, I say. Defensive. Pathetic. The leverage unwind was. I got liquidated on the wick. It was a manipulation. The market makers hunt the stop losses. I'm speaking gibberish. I'm speaking the language of internet losers to a woman who wants a beige sofa and a golden retriever. I sound insane. I sound like I'm talking about magic beans. Her face changes. The jealousy vanishes. The suspicion vanishes, replaced by something infinitely worse. Pity and horror. It's the look you give a dog that has just run into traffic. You lost it, she says. Her hand starts to shake. Really shake now. The phone vibrates in her palm. A margin call notification from a different app. A symphony of failure. You lost the house. I can earn it back, I lie. The standard gambler's prayer. I just need to wait for the bounce. It's oversold. The RSI is. Stop, she says. Quietly. Just stop talking. The sliding glass door opens behind us. The sound of the track grinding on grit is deafening. Bob steps out. He's holding a plate. Cherry pie. Whipped cream melting down the side. He looks at Sarah. Then at me. Then at the phone in Sarah's hand. Everything all right out here? He asks. The heavy baritone of a man who has a pension. A man who buys index funds. A man who has never felt the dopamine rush of 100x leverage. Sarah doesn't look at him. She keeps staring at the screen. At the ruin of her future. He lost it, Dad, she says. Her voice breaks. Just a little fracture. He lost the money. Bob stops chewing. He sets the plate down on the patio railing, very carefully, as if the structural integrity of the pie is the only thing holding the night together. What money? Bob asks. He knows. He just wants to hear it. He wants the autopsy report. The down payment, Sarah says. Tears are forming now. Hard and fast. Ruining her mascara. All of it. Bob looks at me. His face doesn't get red. He doesn't yell. He doesn't ball his fists. He just looks at me with a profound, crushing disappointment. Like I'm a defective appliance he bought at a discount. Is that true, son? I hate that he calls me son. I'm not his son. I'm a tourist in his lineage. I nod. Once. Market volatility, I mumble. Trying to salvage some shred of dignity. Trying to frame it as an act of God rather than an act of stupidity. Bob sighs. A long exhalation through his nose. He walks over to Sarah. Gently takes the phone from her hand. Looks at the screen for 2 seconds. Sees the red numbers. Hands the phone back to me. He treats it like a contaminated object. Like it's covered in radioactive waste. You should go, Bob says. Calmly. Sarah, come inside. Bob, wait, I can explain the strategy. I start. Desperate now. I don't want to leave the light of the porch. I don't want to go back to my cold apartment. I don't want to be alone with the consequences. There's nothing to explain, Bob says. He puts a hand on Sarah's shoulder. She's weeping now. Silent shaking sobs. She doesn't look at me. She turns toward the house. Toward the warmth. Toward the safety I promised I could buy her, but gambled away instead. Go home, Bob says. Harder this time. A command. Don't call her tonight. They walk inside. Bob slides the door shut. He locks it. The audible asterisk click asterisk of the latch is the loudest sound I have ever heard. I am standing alone on the lawn, holding my phone. The screen times out. Fade to black. I look at the house. I can see them through the window. Sarah's mom is hugging her. Bob is gesturing with his hands, probably explaining that he always knew, that I always had shifty eyes, that I wasn't Miller material. I am cut out, excised like a tumor. I walk back to my car, parked in the driveway behind Bob's pristine F-150. My legs feel heavy, like I'm wading through water. I get in. The interior smells like stale coffee and gym clothes. The smell of my real life. The smell of the stagnation I tried to shortcut. I put the key in the ignition, but I don't turn it. I just sit there, staring at the garage door. I check the phone again. Habit, muscle memory. Unlock, refresh, minus 95.1%. Another leg down. I laugh. A short dry bark of a sound. It bounces off the dashboard. I did this because I wanted to feel something. I wanted to escape the beige. I wanted to be the protagonist. I wanted high stakes. Well, I got them. The friction is unbearable. It burns in my chest. A hollow scraping emptiness. I put the car in reverse. Backing out of the driveway. Backing out of the narrative. I watch the house shrink in the rearview mirror. Warm yellow squares of light against the dark. Perfect. Unattainable. I turn onto the main road. Driving into the void. No destination. No savings. No Sarah. Just me. And the realization that I am not a tragic hero. I am just a statistic. A cautionary tale Bob will tell at Thanksgiving for the next 20 years. I turn on the radio to drown out my thoughts. Static. White noise. It sounds like the inside of my head. Drive for 20 minutes. Autopilot kicks in. Don't remember the turns. Don't remember stopping at red lights. Pull into the complex. The vistas at Park Ridge. Sounds fancy. It's just 3 blocks of beige stucco and rotting balconies next to the highway. Park in my spot. Spot 404. Error not found. Cosmic joke lands with a dull thud. Engine off. The ticking of the cooling metal is the only sound in the world. Walk up the 3 flights of stairs. Concrete steps are chipped. Fluorescent light in the hallway is flickering. Buzzing like a dying insect. Key jams in the lock. Always does. Have to jiggle it up and down. Finally turns. Push into the apartment. It greets me with the smell of stale air and unwashed laundry. The sanctum of the loser. Door closes behind me. I don't lock it. Doesn't matter anymore. Nothing in here worth stealing. Kick off my shoes. They hit the wall. Leave a scuff mark. Add it to the list of damages I can't pay for. Walk to the desk in the corner of the living room. The command center. Monitors are asleep. Move the mouse. Screens wake up. Blinding white light fills the dark room. Charts are still there. Frozen in the downward spiral from 3 hours ago. The red candles look like lacerations. I sit down in the ergonomic chair. Mesh back. Lumbar support. Bought it when I thought I was a traitor. When I thought I was escaping the grind. Now it just feels like a dentist's chair. Waiting for the drill. Pull my phone out. 1 notification. Venmo. Request from Sarah. Rent portion last month. No text. No goodbye. Just the transaction. Just the accounting. I decline the request. Not out of spite. Out of necessity. I have $42 in checking. I open a new tab on the browser. Close the charts. Can't look at them. Can't look at the ruin. Stomach growls. Hollow cramping pain. Ignore it. Walk to the fridge anyway. Open the door. Light is yellow and dim. Jar of pickles. Half a carton of almond milk. Sarah's almond milk. Take it out. Pour it down the sink. Watch the white liquid swirl into the drain. It gurgles. Gone. Back to the desk. Stare at the desktop wallpaper. Default Windows blue. The color of nothing. The color of a hospital gown. The simmering resentment starts to cool, hardening into something heavy. Like lead in my gut. This is it. This is the rest of my life. Waking up at 6 a.m. Driving the Honda. Sitting in a cubicle. Listening to Susan talk about her cats. Paying bills. Dying slowly. I tried to break the glass. Tried to sprint through the wall. Just broke my nose instead. Look at the time in the bottom corner. 11:42 p.m. Have to be up in 6 hours. Inventory day tomorrow. Have to count widgets. Have to pretend I care about supply chain logistics. I don't move. Just sit there. Bathing in the blue light. Friction is gone. Replaced by a smooth, terrifying flatness. I am safe. I am solitary. I am zero. Open solitaire. Click, click, click. Game over. New game.